Hey, 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 welcome to another Friday Live.
We made it through another week.
Yes, and hopefully a lot more weeks to come.
Oh, yeah.
So I am Tina Marie.
And I am Jason.
And this is our Friday Live where we talk about all the 411 on marriage and relationships, right? So tonight, what are we going to do? We help couples, right? We help couples go from stagnation to intimate connection so that they can feel loved, respected, and secure in what they want in their relationships, right?
So by doing that, we want you to make sure you like, subscribe, and share this feed with anybody that you come in contact with, because if you're married or in a relationship, you really want to be a part of this.
Or if you plan on being married or being in a relationship.
There
right?
you go.
Or
Yeah.
even if you're not, this can benefit everyone. Lots of times people ask me or they say, well, I'm not married. I don't think I'm supposed to tune into your show. Well, the information that we give is to help individuals in relationships.
Right.
So if you are an individual
in a relationship
or not in a relationship, but if you are an individual, eventually you shall be or should be or would be or could be in a relationship, then you're going to have your stuff together. And that's what it's about. It's about self-development, making sure we have ourselves and show up as the best version of ourselves so that when we are in a relationship, the relationship can work, whereas we're not placing blame on someone else. We have all of our stuff together. All right. Where can they find us, Jason?
They can find us at legendaryrelationship.com and also on the podcast of Loving Beyond the I Do. So you can go to lovingbeyondtheido.com. You can go to legendaryrelationship.com, and you can add us at Legendary Relationship. That's on Facebook and Instagram. Or you could just hit us up on legendaryrelationship.com/info. And that will give you all of the ways to get in contact with us. It's everything from A to Z on how to reach us in every single way.
All right. So we will be back with tonight's topic right after these messages. All right. So tonight's topic is why you should have an LLC, right? And we have our guest on who has been a guest several times.
Yes.
Right?
I'll just
the knowledge of all knowledge.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Big knowledge.
Who's after one more time, he's going to be our co-host.
Right.
All right. So let's bring in Mario Reed as I tell you a little bit about him, attorney Mario Reed. So can you bring that over there for me, Jay?
Sure
Thank you. So, attorney Mario Reed is the managing partner for the Lumarti Law Firm, and I hope I said that correct, LLC, a boutique firm concentrating in estate planning, real estate, probate, and business. After he spent 5 years with the Cook County Recorder of Deeds and Clerk's Office, he transitioned into private practice to ensure people of color had access to affordable, high-quality legal assistance. Presently, his firm focuses on community outreach, educating the masses, and placing an emphasis on generational wealth. Welcome back again, Attorney Reed.
Hey, man.
Thank you for having me. And that's a much better sounding bio than the last 2 weeks. So.
Right. Get to the point. When your resume is long, you're just trying to fit it all in. But we just summed it all up in some good words, right?
Very much so. Thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to the co-hosting spot so I can get one of those real dope shirts. So
all right.
You got one coming.
Let's get ready. And usually people, right, they say, oh, they come on at 6. So I'm going to get in at 6:10, 6:15.
Yep.
So we're just going to get it going, right? And they jump in wherever they fit in. But someone might ask, what does an LLC have to do with marriage and relationships? And my answer is,
what is it?
Money always makes the relationship better, right?
Talk to me.
So, and it's better to have a business where I understand it and he understands it and we understand it, and we can make money together instead of arguing over it. All right. So what do you have to say about what does LLCs have to do with relationships before we get into your talk?
Oh, well, it's very similar to what you said. So the number one cause and reason for divorce is money. So any way to be able to improve that and take that out of the equation is better. But even more importantly, one of the things that I see is it's not only money, but it's kind of the liabilities and responsibilities that come along with it. And there's an old saying that there are two guarantees in life, one of which is death and the other which is those taxes. And when it comes to LLCs, the number one benefit to having an LLC is minimizing your individual tax liability and responsibility. So for purposes of being able to grow your marriage, being able to build something that you get to leave as a part of that marriage and legacy, LLCs, which stands for limited liability companies, is one of the greatest pathways to it. So that's what it has to do with marriages and relationships. And it really helps to spur so many of the other aspects of it.
All right, so let's get into our first point of discussion.
Yeah, I just want to say, I know this kind of took shape because of what we were talking about last week, and we're talking about businesses and how to, use it to
write off your taxes.
Write off your taxes and stuff like that. So a lot of us have side hustles that we just do and have, but we don't really want to turn them into businesses.
Or
so
we don't know that we should. We don't know how. Or
exactly. Now you may find yourself contemplating, hey, you got this side business, you want to do something, you want to make life better, but you just don't know where to go. This is what this is about this week. We're talking about how to put things in legal standings, what we need to do. So if you find yourself contemplating about that side hustle that you have,
that's making money, but you're not able to take off
and you're missing a lot of the benefits and stuff like that. So we're going to get right into the first point here.
All right, the importance of having an LLC.
Yeah, so exactly what it was that you were mentioning recently, but even more importantly, I think most people don't understand how many incredible benefits come with an LLC. So for those of us who have a side hustle, the reason why it is that we usually have a side hustle is because we're trying to get more money and income. If most people understood that getting an LLC just in and of itself inherently helps you get more income, more people would likely do so. So there are two facets to why people should consider getting an LLC or incorporating their business, whether it be as a limited liability company, as a corporation, or as any of the different entities and structures that exist. The biggest reason why is because of legality purposes. So if you're doing a side hustle, you are putting your main hustle at risk if somebody decides to sue you because of your side hustle. Because if they sue you because of your side hustle and they win, they're going to now be able to take not only your main hustle, but everything you've earned and acquired. So your house, your bank, your vehicles, all of those assets now are in jeopardy of being attached to because that side hustle wasn't properly protected and your personal assets weren't separated. They were commingled. If I come and say, hey, I have this painting and I love doing paintings, and then I used some acid in my painting, you put it in your house and it burns down your house. Well, now your house is burned down because of the painting that I gave you. If I didn't make it clear that you were buying it from Mario's paintings as opposed to Mario the individual, now you can come get Mario's paintings and Mario's house because there was no separation of my business from my personal assets. So that's the biggest reason why anybody who's engaging in a side hustle really needs to have some type of protections where if something bad happens in my side hustle, it's not impacting my personal life. That's priority number one whenever somebody gets an LLC. The second reason why you want to have an LLC is because it instantly results in you saving money. I started my first LLC back in 2015 because my daughter's mother and I, we were going to start rehabbing properties. So we went out, we bought a property from the Cook County Land Bank Authority for $23,000 in Calumet City. and we were going to rehab this property. Well, the second that I formed that LLC, not only did I get the protections, but I also started to reap all of the write-offs. My phone that I was using to call the land bank now became a write-off for my business. My time when I was spending it working on the business and rehabbing, it became part of a write-off. All of the materials, my vehicle, 300 square feet of my home. So now, not only was I protected in that business, but I now started to get money back from the taxes that I was paying while working for the county. So I made money simply by having an LLC because it reduced my adjustable gross income, and I was able to get more money back from the government that I turned around and put right back into my side hustle. So the LLC is beneficial because it's protection and it gives you what's called normally a tax shelter or a tax write-off conduit.
So people might think, okay, I've been doing this for 10 years. And if I form an LLC for my side hustle, now I have to pay taxes on the money that I was not
Paying before.
paying
Right.
taxes on before.
I wasn't reporting it.
Right. So what do you say about that?
So what I say about that is that very similar to, I think, the last two calls, we've consistently said when people don't know what they're talking about, they're going to make some bad decisions. And,
Amen.
Amen.
All right.
and that should really be the moral or the theme of our conversations, because I make far more money now, and it's not even close, than I ever did while working for the Cook County Recorder of Deeds office or the Cook County Clerk's office. And we're talking 5-6 times more. I pay less in taxes now than I did when I was working for the government. So that's what I would say to anyone who makes such a comment. And it's, again, because most people don't understand how the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service's tax code works. There's a reason why entrepreneurship is considered to be the American dream. There's a reason why a former president went before a national audience as a part of a presidential debate and said that the reason why he doesn't pay taxes is because he's smart. It is because our system rewards entrepreneurs. So it's to any entrepreneur's benefit to have an LLC and take full advantage of the tax code. So anybody who's concerned about that, they need to, whether they investigate it themselves or they go to a professional, talk to the professionals, and oftentimes they'll quickly tell you, hey, you're losing by not having this LLC in place.
Okay, my next question. I'm just trying to think of other people. So what if someone, you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Like people say, well, I can, form an LLC myself. I mean, I can just pop online and, go through, answer a couple questions, and boom, I have it set up. Well, what's the benefits or the drawbacks from doing that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's a question I hear quite frequently. And I always answer that in the same way. I can change my own oil as well, but I will never in a million years roll underneath the vehicle and even think about doing so, because no matter how great I might be at it, I'll never be a professional. So when it comes time to change that oil and I don't change the filter, it's not until my car blows up that I realize, you know what, maybe I couldn't actually change my oil, even though I thought so.
Right.
Maybe I should have just taken it to the professionals. And if they told me $80, I reach in my pocket and say, here's $80 because you're a professional.
Right.
As an attorney, I understand things about an LLC that most people will never even consider. For instance, how easy it is for someone to pierce the corporate veil. That's a legal term of art, which most people have never heard. But for me, as a legal professional, the reason why I'm encouraging you to have this LLC is because I want to ensure that you always have the protections of the corporate veil. The other thing is that most people go online and they click through the boxes, but they never actually create an operating agreement. And more importantly, they never create a succession plan. So you build this great company, you had an LLC that was registered with the Illinois Secretary of State, but then you pass and you only had one daughter, but your daughter can't get any access to any of those bank accounts or any of the assets you built because you never established who you wanted as your successor. And that's what someone such as myself from the very beginning, I'm going to say, who's your successor, and talk through all of that. The other part is that I'm also going to give counsel about the reasons why you have to make sure to not commingle funds, helping you understand what commingling of funds is. If somebody gives you $20 cash, it's important that you go and you still put that into that business checking account. If you have Zelle and it's connected to your personal account, it's imperative that you change it where if it's coming from a customer, it goes to your business account. So all of that is what you get once you retain legal professional counsel to assist with your LLC. It's exactly that, the counsel and the advisory aspect of it.
All right.
Okay, my question was, sometimes people think starting an LLC is for younger people. What if you are mature, an older individual that has been doing something for years? What would be their benefit in making sure that they start an LLC so that they can get the benefit of tax write-offs as well as anything else?
Yeah, so it's very similar to from a saving standpoint or anything. When you're younger, usually you don't have as much. So LLCs are actually for older people, because when I was 20 something, if I would have sold that same painting to a client and they come and sue me, they're going to get a couple bills from Comcast and Nicor for an apartment that I'm renting. So I don't really have as much to lose. Anybody who has more to lose, an LLC is far more beneficial because you have more to lose, and that means you want to protect more. The other thing is that when I was 20 some years old, I was working at Best Buy full-time and Dollar Tree full-time, 80 hours a week. And after that, I still couldn't afford to pay my bills because I was only making $38,000, $40,000. Well, if I'm only making $38,000 or $40,000, even if I get back all my taxes, it still only translates to maybe $5,000 or $6,000. But if I'm an older individual, if I make $106,000 in my main hustle, that means I'm paying probably close to $20,000 to $25,000 worth of taxes. If I have an LLC, I can potentially now get all $25,000 back, and think about how much better that's going to make my life, whether I take it and invest it back into my side hustle, or I take it and invest it into trips to Cancun or whatever it is. So individuals who are older in life stand to benefit more because they're further along in their economic development as well as their asset collection. So it's far more beneficial for them than some young person.
So, and I know we have lots of topics to talk about, but one more question. I don't think people realize the risk they're taking when they're working out of their home and they don't have an LLC, right? So now that's really commingling. That's like really putting everything you own in the hands of someone else. If they come into your home and slip or fall, or whatever, right? So like one of the people, if you're doing their hair and now they're upset or you burned them and now they want to sue you for that, having an LLC or doing business in the home without the LLC, let's take us through some of the even more risks that may create.
Yeah. So on that one, it would seem as if though it's riskier, but it's no riskier. It's not. Okay. It actually doesn't work out to be any riskier, other than the fact that in your home, you may not have some of the same type of, accommodations. So, like you might have a kid's toys lying around or a Lego. So that increases the potential. They might step on it, fall, and they hurt. But in terms of from a legal standpoint, whether you're working out of your home or you're working out of a commercial space, if you don't have an LLC, you don't have the protections. And that's really the key. They can take your house if you burned them while they were in your home, or they can take your house if you burned them and you were at a shop. Either way, if you don't have that protection, they can come get your stuff. So it's not any more risky from a legal standpoint. It's just a case where you kind of add more dangers and potential possibilities of something going wrong, because usually a home space isn't going to be set up in the same way a commercial space would.
Okay.
You know what? You just mentioned Cancun in one of your examples, and we got
A shout out. So
a shout out.
Lavanya, I'm in
Yep.
Cancun now. All right, Lavanya,
Lavanya.
thanks for tuning in all the way from Cancun.
Cool,
There you
yeah.
So I hope you're doing your LLC.
Yes.
And then we have Regina who's checking in.
Hey,
Hello, Regina. And I don't know. Oh,
No.
just say hi. All
Mhm.
right. So let's go to our another point. Do we have any? What was the 2 likes? Then we can
Okay.
All right. So
Yep.
Regina and Lavanya. All
Okay.
right. So tonight we're talking about LLC, and the first point was why should you have an LLC? And let's go into our second point, which is the tax benefits of having an LLC. So if you guys have
Yes.
any questions as we're going through this information, please feel free to write them in the comments. If you have any questions regarding your LLC that maybe something you have come across and you want some advice on it, please put that in the comments so that we can help you. All right, you want to put this down? All
Yeah,
right.
that's Latoya.
All
Hey,
right,
family.
Latoya Berry
Latoya.
says, hey, family, hello. All right, so let's talk about some LLCs and the tax benefits.
Yes. So that is the part which so many people miss out on. So when you're doing that side hustle, you are using resources to further that side hustle. Whatever that side hustle is, you are acquiring materials, you are utilizing utilities, you are utilizing other services in order to do so. When you don't have an LLC, you don't get any of the tax write-offs or deductions that come along with it. You're still using those services, you're still doing it, you're just not reaping any of the benefits. The biggest tax benefit is that every dollar that I spend on any expense associated with my business, I now don't have to pay that to Uncle Sam. And when it comes to business, because there's so much overhead that goes into it, you can make a whole lot of money before you have to even start thinking about paying any taxes. And what's even better is that if it's a side hustle, that means you have a main hustle that you are paying income taxes for.
Right.
So the LLC is actually going to help you claw back that money that you've already given to the IRS, and you're already doing it. So even if your business is only netting you, let's say $7,000, the fact that you now get to write off your phone bill, you get to write off up to 300 square feet of your home. Or if you're renting a commercial space, you get to write that off. You get to write off the utilities. You get to write off the legal fees that went into an attorney preparing your operating agreement and succession plan. All of these expenses now reduce your adjustable gross income. So if you poured $30,000 into your side hustle and only netted $7,000, not only are you not having to worry about paying taxes on that because it didn't even reach the threshold of $12,550, but you were able to reduce your main hustle, that income, by $30,000, and now it takes you to a lower tax bracket. So now you start to see $5,000, $10,000 tax returns, and that can become seed money to propel yourself to your side hustle being your main hustle, and then doing what you want as opposed to working for the man, which none of us want to work for the man.
So,
all
if you don't have an LLC, you're going to be going around with this heavy burden of taxes on your back.
And that ridiculous blue shirt that doesn't say FSU on it.
That's right.
That's right. They're already walking around with those taxes on their back.
That's right.
All right. And so we hate those folks and say, well, how do they get away with not paying taxes? It's not how they get away with it. It's being smart about what you do and doing it the right way, right? Not the wrong way. All right. So let's go into it. Do we have any questions? I know we have one more check-in.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, yeah. Lavanya said that.
Now I will when I get back home. Great info. All right.
I must say so. Vicky's checking in.
Hey, Vicky. I hope Earl's with you. Hello, family. Good to see you again. All right. What do Lavanya have to say? I am learning a lot. I have 5 investment properties. Wow.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go.
Wait a minute. She said she has 5 investment properties. She said she's going to do it when she get home.
So that means you have a LLC. If not, I'm going to put you know what? I'm going to put Mario's information up here. Give me one quick second. I got to put his information up here.
Yeah,
because you need to reach out to Mario if you have not.
Yes. As Miss Small Weatherspoon shouldn't be paying a single dollar to the Internal Revenue Service. If you have 5 investment properties, you have more than enough deductible expenses where you should never have to worry about paying any income taxes whatsoever. The other thing is that if you have 5 income properties, I'm very hopeful that you have a plan for what's to happen to those should something happen to you, because dealing with just one property can be a nightmare, right?
Right.
Right.
So, yeah. If somebody had 5 properties and then they pass away, that would be a nightmare's nightmare. So it's very important that in business, you have that game plan. And that's one of the great things about an LLC. An LLC helps to make the estate planning and the succession planning even easier as well, because you simply build it in with the successor, and then it just passes hands nicely, smoothly outside of the probate process.
And as you said, going back to false information, right? We assume that we have these properties, and in the case of our death, that our kids can just pick them up and take over. And that's not always the case, right? And then paying expensive probate, and then going through expensive lawyers trying to get something that belonged to your mom or your dad.
Right.
So getting the information and getting it correct is important. So Lavanya, we definitely hope you take the time to find out the 411 on how to get that done with 5 investment properties.
Yep.
All right, we have Jatan.
Jatan say, hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Hope you, Jatan, you're getting some information about these LLCs, informing them so that you can have those tax write-offs with your business and with your husband's business.
That's right. And then just run down and see Mario too. All right.
Yeah, he right down the street.
Yep. Yeah. Go check him out.
All right. So Nancy Smith, as always, thanks for the info. You're welcome, Nancy Smith. We hope this can benefit you and your family. All right, because young people think they know all there is to know about everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're the main ones getting the wrong information.
All right, Jatan said I was on YouTube. Yep, we're streaming on both YouTube and Facebook.
Yep. So you should be able to find us also
on both places. Yeah. Yep.
All right, what did Lavanya say?
Yeah, so she's doing the right thing. She says she's getting that money back, and that's fantastic, because that's what it is that LLCs and entrepreneurship is all about. It's ensuring that you don't have to pay the government, because the government wants small businesses. The government wants entrepreneurship because it spurs the economy. That's what makes it run and go.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Here she goes. She goes, our property is in a land trust.
I'm sorry to hear that, but but I'm glad that you have something, as you shouldn't be paying annually for that trust, which a land trust does. The other thing is that you've ceded ownership to the land trust company. So you've done something which is better than nothing, but it's still a case where right now you're giving money away to people who you shouldn't. And there's also a possibility that it's probably not actually achieving what it is that you want. But we're not going to get into all these nitty-gritty details. You're in Cancun living a good life. I want you to live a good life.
What did Vicky say? All right. Vicky said Earl may be on later. All right. He's busy. Okay.
All right. Well, we appreciate that.
Well, tell Earl that if he's considering doing the business with the books, he definitely needs to tune in later to find out how to make all of that income that he's putting into it work for him.
Yeah.
All right. Is there one more?
Lavanya says, but I don't have an LLC. Yep. You need to stop by and check out Mario if you don't. He'll break it down for you.
That's right.
You got it. It's a dangerous slope that you're on, and we don't want that. But again, we want you enjoying Cancun. So,
all right, let's see.
All right, here we go. We got one for you, Mario.
All right, my grandma left her house to my dad and his siblings. My dad has a bigger percentage of the house. Do we need to get some kind of information stating his children will inherit his percentage? God forbid if something happens to him.
And with that scenario, I would need to look at the deed, because the likelihood that dad is going to have a higher percentage is very, very low. Typically, deeds aren't written that way. It happens every now and again, but that's more of an anomaly. Now, if it's just in dad's name, then you all would potentially get the percentage, but it would have to go through probate court. So that's really a two-parter. The first part is we need to check to confirm whether or not dad has a larger percentage, because I doubt it, but we could check. And then the second part is that, yes, dad needs to do his estate planning and get his affairs in order so that way he can designate who he wants to get whatever percentage he has without them having to go through the probate process. So that's definitely something to look into, and a topic that we covered on first week. But
I was just going to say, Jatan, you 3 weeks behind.
Yeah. We definitely covered that in the first one.
So we want you to go back and look at our show on YouTube that talks about getting your affairs in order.
Yep.
So we definitely, and then you can give him a call.
Yeah.
You can give him a call for the
I tell you
LLC
what,
and the business.
He's busy, so go ahead and give him a call, get on his schedule, then go watch the video, then you'll be all prepped and ready to go.
All right. So Vicky Thomas says thanks about that. Yeah. And Jatan, she left the house to all 4 of them. He does have a higher percentage. He has 1/2 percentage of my aunt and uncle's share, the rest.
Yeah, and it's a possibility. But what happens is, and I've been doing this for quite a long time. I spent 5 years at the Recorder of Deeds, so I probably saw over 10,000 people in that 5-year period. So frequently, especially within our community, we are making these statements based off of what we've been told. And then I go and I pull up the property's chain of title and I look at the deed, and it's nothing like what it is that the person thought or what they told me. So it's definitely a possibility. I just am always skeptical, because more often than not, it's not what the person thought it. And then they give me the side eye because they think I'm the bad person when it's just the way that the docs are. So that's what I say. So right. By no stretch of the imagination am I trying to call you a liar or suggesting that it's not true. I'm just stating that before we start talking percentages, I would need to see the deed, because I can only go off of the black and white. So it's definitely possible that it could have been crafted that way. I just need to see the deed that reflects that. That's it.
Right. So that's what we hear the hearsay, yep. And then we think it's that way, and they tell you it's that way, and everybody knows it's that way. It's just that it's not on paper that way, and that's all he's saying. He definitely could have a greater percentage. What she said? Okay,
yes.
We need to check the deed instead of the will.
There you go. So there's an example. Okay, the will has nothing to do with this. So, right. So that's exactly it, and it's okay. So I see this all the time, and this is relationships. This comes up all the time with married couples. In our communities, so frequently, especially dating back to the 80s and 90s, it was tough still for people in our communities to get homes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. One of the reasons it was so tough is because it was hard for us to get quality representation when buying a home.
Right.
Because of that, the people who were selling them the home didn't care about us, so they would just write a deed, and instead of them putting in 2 simple words, joint tenants, they wouldn't put that into our deeds. And because of that, in the state of Illinois, we defaulted to tenants in common, which means that married couple now each owns 50% individually, as opposed to 100% each collectively. Mm-hmm. And because most people have never went and looked at their deed, most Black people don't even know they have their deed. They think you don't get until you finish paying it off. So because they never went and looked at the deed, and even if they did, they didn't know that it was supposed to say joint tenancy versus tenants in common. They don't know that they actually own it 50-50 instead of 100-100. So they come in and they sit down in my office and they say, I'm ready to do my estate planning.
Right.
Only for me to uncover that if something happens to one of them, the other one has to go to probate court to get that percentage. But what's even worse is that in our communities, we sometimes have blended families.
Right.
So now that wife has to go to probate court and fight with that stepchild who's never accepted her because she thinks that the stepmom took dad away from first mom. And all of that comes out simply because no one's looked at the documents. So it happens so frequently, and it's so important where we got to check the deed. We got to look at deeds and then analyze it based on what the deed says.
And get it straight while he's still living. That's
Yep.
right.
Absolutely.
Okay, Jatan said, okay, I got it. Thanks. Now, Lavanya, here you go.
Ooh, excuse me. I thought I shouldn't be paying trust fees every year. You are the
definitely not
person I
5
need.
times. Definitely not 5 times more. And you're 100% right. Most land trust companies charge between $150 and $200. You're paying $1,000 a year for nothing. So while you've been getting money back because of having your affairs in order in the business sense, you've been turning around and giving it out to somebody else. And that's what we don't want. It's the holistic approach. We want you saving in every aspect of life, because then you get more trips to Cancun and you deserve them.
All right, let's see. All right, Jatan said, let me go look at the deed.
There you go.
Right.
There
the
you
info.
go. Please
That's right.
do. Please do.
Knowledge is power. When you have the right knowledge, you can get the right power, and that's what matters. All right, let's go. And so I don't know how we got into probate and all of that,
Because it all gets into
Jatan took us back three
episodes back, right?
Episodes back. All right, so let's go to our next point.
Mhm.
So we have 20 minutes, guys. Let's get this next point in. And that says the importance of succession planning for your LLC. I believe that's what that said.
Yep.
So as it turns out, we were supposed to be in probate land all along.
There you
Right.
go. It's all
Thank
connected,
you,
right?
Jatan, for having the foresight to know where we were going. So yes, succession planning when it comes to your LLC is even more important than when it comes to your personal and your individual life. And it's because an LLC, according to a Supreme Court decision, which a lot of people have heard about, Citizens United, is treated as a person. When you go and form an LLC, you are creating another legal entity. That legal entity can apply for credit. That legal entity can apply for financing. That legal entity can actually give money to candidates. It is a whole new entity or person. And just like we need to have our succession planning or estate planning in place, the LLC needs to as well. Because so frequently, let's say you start an LLC with 3 of your closest business partners, and then that company grows to $1 million a year company. But because you all didn't have your succession planning in place, you pass away, and you would have hoped that your children or spouse or whomever would get 25% interest in that LLC or company. But because you all didn't do the succession planning, those partners say, well, that means more money for us. And there's nothing that your heirs or loved ones are going to be able to do, because as a business, you all didn't do the succession planning. And because of that, they now get to make the decision about what happens next. So when it comes to your LLC, having the succession planning in place is just as important as getting it off the ground. Because as we all know, eventually we're going to leave from this earth. So if you are building a side hustle, if you're building a business, it's important to set things in place to pass it to who you want it to go to without them having to go to probate and without them having to go through the changes, because it's a lot tougher in large part because they have so many different things associated with it.
So Jatan said, look at God.
There it is.
How you do it? All right.
Yeah, you can. You jumped on late. You can re-listen. Yep. You can go to YouTube, or you can go to Facebook. It's in Legendary feed. I think it's in Tina's feed as well.
It's in Legendary Relationship feed, or it's in Tina Scott's feed,
Yep.
or you can go to YouTube and watch it.
Yep. Or you can just go to legendaryrelationship.com/info, and you'll get a list of everything. Friday Night Live is right at the top of the feed. you can get everything right there. So you can go to Facebook, YouTube, wherever.
That's right. You can get everything.
Everything and everywhere we're at. So
All right.
you won't
And
miss a thing.
Jatan, you can get it there too, to go back and look at those episodes of getting your affairs in order and making sure your parents' affairs in order, right? Because we're going through that, right?
Yes.
And we got some good information from that. All right.
Hey, Wayne, what's going on,
Wayne
family?
said, hello,
How you
family.
doing?
Hello, Wayne. Thanks for tuning in this Friday.
Yep.
We're talking about LLC. So make sure that we're doing all the right things, that we are getting all the tax benefits that we can possibly get, right? Because Mario likes to use it on his paper because he can write up. He has that good paper.
He has that good paper. Okay. Yeah, that's premium paper right there. Yeah.
Nothing but the best. And that actually leads to something that I want to say, because I hear this a lot from entrepreneurs who are starting out. So I was working with a woman, and she has a daycare. And it was back when there was all the PPP money that was being handed out. Mm-hmm. And she mentioned to me that she couldn't scan over the documentation for me to take a look because she didn't have a multifunction printer. And I said, why on earth do you not have a multifunction printer? And she said, because you know what? I'm trying to make the business stretch and go. And I said, but your business is going to run better if you have a multifunction printer. So frequently, businesses make sacrifices because they think this is going to help me. When it comes to your business, invest and get the absolute best of everything, because by getting the best of everything, you minimize your tax liability and you improve your business to get more customers and clients. The other great thing is that when it comes to businesses, there is a line item when it comes to doing your taxes that's called depreciable assets.
Right.
Depreciable assets can be written off or essentially kind of divided out over extended periods of times, whether it's 5 years, 27 years, whatever that looks like. When it comes time for you to go and apply for a mortgage, you get to add all those depreciable assets back in dollar for dollar. So if I wrote off $200,000 worth of depreciable assets, that means I don't have to pay taxes on that because the government says those are tax write-offs. Well, the reason why typically you don't want to do that is because now when you go and apply for a mortgage, they're going to say you didn't make any money. But if it was a depreciable asset, the lender adds that back into your income. So you made $200,000 for lending purposes, but for tax purposes, you paid nothing. So by getting higher end assets, especially those that are depreciable, all you do is further help your own cause because you get more tax write-offs, but you still get credit for it when it comes time for financing. So you win on both sides of the coin.
Wow.
Okay, there's I think Jatan had one more.
With that.
Okay.
Hey, family, this and that. Yeah, Mario is the bomb. And you know what? you know,
okay.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question, Mario. So what if you bought these high-end things and then you started your LLC a year later or 6 months later? But they're using them for their business. Say, you know how most people, they don't have the money or whatever, trying to get any scenario I can. So let's just say a person started their business, right? As their side hustle. They invested all this money in this equipment. Now, 6 months later, they applied for their LLC. Can they still use that as their write-off, even though they purchased it 6 months prior to?
Absolutely. And let's make the scenario where it was a year and a half, because even if you bought it, our returns are for a full year. So let's say I buy something in January and I start my LLC in December, that's still all a part of the same tax year return. But even if I bought it in January of 2021 and I started using it in March of 2022, and I started my LLC in March of 2022, when I go to file my returns in 2023 for 2022, I can still take that deduction from 2021 because it was for the business. And one of the things that I hear a lot of clients and people just in general say is, have you ever heard of someone claiming someone else's kids on their taxes?
I have.
I
Yes.
have. Yep.
Yeah. And we always hear about it. And it's one of those memes that circulates every January and February. But the reason why it exists and we always hear about it is because it's 100% legal and okay. And the reason why is because the IRS doesn't care who claims whose kids. The IRS only wants one person to claim that kid or those kids. And when it comes to the tax write-offs and deductions, it works the same way. Even if you haven't formally registered and filed your LLC, you can still reap the benefits because you can file as a sole proprietor, you can file as a doing business as, so you technically don't even have to have an LLC to take the benefits for the Internal Revenue Services. The real benefit is on the legal side of it. So that's why I'm saying over and over, get the LLC, get the LLC. But even if you don't have an LLC, you can still file your return with the Internal Revenue Services as a sole proprietor without an LLC and then reap the benefits. But it's so much easier with an LLC because now the IRS already has an employer identification number that's assigned to you. So it just makes the process easier. But yes, to your question, you can take the benefits even if you purchased it a year and a half ago because you never claimed it. And the IRS says as long as you bought it, we'll give you credit for it, even if you forgot to claim it in that year.
Sounds good. So, you have any questions? Because I have another one.
Nope, but you can hold that because Wayne has a question here.
What does it cost to start an LLC?
Yes. So if you are that person who says, I hate those scummy, expensive lawyers, and I'm going to do this myself because I can figure it out, the Illinois Secretary of State charges $150 to file your articles of organization and $25 to acquire what's called a certificate of good standing. Our firm will do the application for the Illinois Secretary of State as well as the Internal Revenue Services. Will also prepare your operating agreement and succession plan and will serve as your registered agent for an additional $325 as a one-time fee. So in total, if you come to our firm, the total amount you'll pay is $500, with $325 coming to us, $175 going to the Illinois Secretary of State, and then it typically takes about 2 weeks in order to prepare everything.
All right. Okay. And even with that $500, you can call him anytime to ask him how's your LLC and all those questions that go along with it. All right. So it has been within this. It has to be within the same year. No, he said it doesn't have to be in the same year. For instance, my husband has a lawn care service. He spent $3,000 on a stand-up lawn more last year. He $3,000 on a stand-up lawn more last year. I think he more.
Yeah, no, lawnmower. Okay, a stand-up lawnmower. Yes.
Okay. Is it too late to claim it with the LLC? I thought she was saying more instead of lawnmower. Okay.
I got it.
So she was probably doing talk to text because they heard mower and then put it back. But yes, it is not too late. And that's the other great thing about depreciable assets. With depreciable assets, they actually get depreciated over a 5-year span normally. So for that lawn mower, it was going to get depreciated where you get 1/5 of the write-off year one, then another 1/5 year 2, 3, 4, 5, because the Internal Revenue Service, the tax code says that an asset like a stand-up lawnmower, it depreciates. It loses its value over this 5-year span. So to answer your question, absolutely. But the other thing is that I'm sure it's way more expensive than just that $3,000 lawnmower that's been inquired. Advertising. When you take out a $30 ad on Facebook, that's advertising. When you print out even your price sheet, that's advertising. I just spent all the gas for it, the gas can to put the gas in, all of them.
Yep.
I just spent $1,000 for LeBron's for my volleyball team. I play in a volleyball league on Friday nights at Pullman, and I bought everyone on my team $100 LeBron James shoes so we could all be matching. The reason I did that is because it's dope. But not only is it
That's a real legal term right there.
the real reason, but now I get $1,000 write-off as a sponsorship for my own volleyball team. So I just reduced my adjustable gross income. We get dope shoes, and I get another tax write-off. There's an old saying that's how the rich get richer, and it's because once you learn and understand how the code is written, you can take it and apply it to your life.
That's right.
The entry fee for our volley, all of those are sponsorships, because all I do is plaster my law firm's logo on it, and now we're in good business. So it's a win-win. I get to do something I love. I get to look dope doing it, and I give less money to the Internal Revenue Service because of it. Like, why would anybody not want to do this?
Yeah,
All
why
right.
wouldn't you? Yeah.
Win-win. That's not an old saying. That's a new saying.
Yeah.
The rich do get richer by knowing this. That's still going.
Yeah.
Not hold it off.
You got it.
All right. So does Jatan say anything else?
Yep. Siri.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, we know. We know. Yeah, we know that
problem,
autocorrect. Like, oh, we know what you mean.
I just wanted to make sure you wasn't saying he spent $3,000 more, like that, like in addition to something else.
Yeah, that's how you were reading it.
Right. Because I'm like the stand-up line and then more. I was like, wait, he spent more than that?
Yeah, but that's a lot. I mean, like, he has all type of expenses.
Right,
I mean, he has
exactly.
that trailer that he has
Well,
on,
not only that,
on the back, and the travel, the miles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the miles get added back into your income as well. So every mile that you drive, the lender, they give you 25 cents for every dollar. So let's say that you write off 10,000 miles, and that translates to $5,000. Well, you get that reduced from your adjustable gross income, and you don't pay taxes on it, which normally, if it's for most expenses, is going to hurt you when it comes time to apply for a mortgage. But the lender adds back in 25 cents on every dollar. So that way you still are getting that as income for lending purposes. So there are so many benefits that it's just mind-boggling why so many people aren't taking advantage of it, but it's also because apparently they just don't know. Yeah, I feel you.
They just don't know the right stuff. They just don't know the right stuff. So, okay. So, Mario, I'm going to ask you, and even though it was behind cameras, I asked you, what did you want me to call you? Can you please tell everybody? Because now I think you have earned that title. So what do you want me to call you?
Mario.
That was not the title.
Yeah. So you know that saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
Yeah.
So what happened behind cameras?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There's a reason why there's that saying. So yeah.
All right. So let's see what Wayne has to say. Okay, there you go. This is a great topic, and thanks for sharing it with us. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So Wayne, I don't know if you're married or not, but this topic has to deal with getting ourselves together for in relationships and outside of relationships. So everything we do is related to self-improvement and
we always have our side hustle, right? But we also need to protect it. And there's a lot of different things. I mean, this all stemmed from our first conversation we had with Mario about the four-legged table, right? About having beneficiaries, a land trust, having a trust and a will, and all of those different things. And then it just evolves into all this. So all this is to make your life better, right?
But if you're not married, guess what? Having an LLC and getting some money, you could be married. So
is that calculus?
I'm just messing with you guys. All right. So how did we get to that? All right. So what did the time say? I can't read it because it's too small.
No. What's the name, Mario?
We're
not going for that.
All right. So that was behind the scenes, guys. So he won't let it out. I have my own business, but not married.
Okay.
All right.
Good job, Wayne. Good job, Wayne.
But Wayne, make sure you
get your LLC.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
So you can keep your own business.
No, Wayne said he had, or he didn't say he had it. But so he said he had a business. So
right, yeah, he has his business, but he's not married. But let's make sure he has an LLC.
There you go. Absolutely.
Like, you Mario. So he's like you, got a business but not married. All
I
right.
have an
So
LLC.
all right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Are there any more questions? Because we have been on for an hour and we have enjoyed it. And Mario will probably be back again with one of his other topics that he knows so well. And if you want to see him back again with something that maybe you want more in depth, because it seems as though you guys are scared to ask questions. Now, remember, if you have a question about your LLC, you can just say, I'm asking for a friend, because no question is stupid or dumb or
unless you don't ask.
right.
Then it becomes a dumb
Right.
question.
So if you don't know the answer to something and you want to know,
This is the time you get knowledge.
No matter how minute or small you may think it
Right.
may be, please ask the question so that everyone else may be thinking the same thing.
So here it is, people. You have a very accomplished attorney sitting here giving you information
for free,
right? You should take advantage of this. This is knowledge, right? This is applied knowledge. This is good information. So you should ask your questions. Then later you can go and visit his office. But I'm going to tell you, he's very competent in what he does. He's and his processes and stuff are like right on point. So if you have questions, if you have comments or anything, please get them out there, because this is the time to ask. Because showing up with the legal defense, I didn't know, doesn't work. Right.
Or waiting until it's too late. Right, Mario? Right. Waiting until you've spent thousands and thousands of dollars. And then just think you could have saved that money getting the right information up front. And too often our community, we don't get the right information out. We listen to our great grandfather who said this and did that, and we don't get the information. So the whole purpose is to get the information out so that we can be doing things the right way to not only save money but make money, and to do what we're set out to do, which is to, elevate.
That's right.
Elevate. All right. What does Lavanya say?
So I'll call you guys when I get home. Yep. You know where to find us. We'll be here. But enjoy yourself while you're in Cancun, though.
All right. And then we'll put Mario's information up again. What does Jatan say? You got to pick it up. All right, there you go. Wayne, make sure you have a multi-purpose printer, scanner, and fax machine.
yes, and
not just anyone. You have one too.
Not just anyone. Get the best one possible.
That's right.
One, because you deserve it, and two, because it's only going to help your cause. It's only going to make you more money. So by all means, get the best of everything. So when I buy a phone, I buy that phone in cash and get the best one possible, because I know all I'm doing is just giving less money to the IRS, and it's an appreciable asset.
That's right. That's right. So Jatan says, great. What? Great info. Thanks so much.
Yep.
That's to you, Mario.
Yep.
Or to us too, because we had you on. You're on our show.
And then Wayne said he does. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Jatan says, we
have. No.
Wait, Jatan, I don't understand. You have a cheap one, but he bought a $3,000 more. No, just kidding. Just kidding. He made sure he got him a good mower.
You can't be out here cutting grass on a cheap mower, so you got to get your good equipment.
Well, he can't be faxing folks his invoice either on a cheap fax machine.
Yeah, that's true too.
All right.
So the answer to both of them is yes, you can be out there on a cheap mower. Yes, you can be using a cheap printer. There's no benefit to either of them. You're only hurting yourself. That's it. That's right. So you can do either. You're just hurting yourself in the process. And that's where we have to change as a community, as a culture. It's this idea that if I go spend money over here, I'm going to hurt myself, when in reality, you're going to help your cause. When a client comes in and has us do their LLC, they now have a $500 write-off from the second that they're here. So that write-off is going to probably result in them getting greater returns on the other side. And we have to move past that. This idea that when I go and do things professionally, or when I invest money into my business, I'm only hurting my bottom line, when it's the opposite. I don't pay the government taxes because I have a business and I make sure I have the best of everything in my business. In turn, I give less for student loans because I don't make any money. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win, and we got to get to that point.
Okay, so we're gonna right after this. I just have
I got one quick thing. How many? So Jatan has
A nice printer and a cheap one. All right, there you go. I bet the nice printer is yours, isn't it? All right. So what was your question?
My question was, how many LLCs should you start? I mean, because I see people that, you know, they have an idea and then they'll start an LLC.
Or should you have one big corp and then do LLCs under just each individual LLC?
So it's what's known as, whenever it's a different transaction, it should be its own entity. If I sell somebody a house that I rehabbed and that house falls down on their head, I don't want for the buyer to come and sue me and take any of the money associated with my law firm, because they're two totally separate transactions. So anytime that there's a clear delineation between what you're doing, each one needs its own LLC. And it's to your benefit, because again, now I get to take write-offs for the business that I'm doing when I'm flipping homes, which is separate than when I'm servicing clients in my law firm, or when I'm doing interior design, or when it is that I'm doing outreach work. Every time that it's a different transaction, it needs its own LLC, because we don't want to commingle or create cross liability between the businesses either.
Okay, so our time is up, but I have one more question. So our last episode was about the student loan. So now it has paused. Any thoughts, any words? What are you thinking? So
Continue exactly as you were. You can still apply, and we were going to be waiting for those decisions anyways. So the key is to apply. There's zero chance that it's going to go against the Biden-Harris administration, because the Supreme Court knows that would result in the packing of the court. And the last thing they want to do is pack the court over this topic. So continue as normal.
Continue applying. Right.
Continue to apply. Make certain that once it comes out of the moratorium, you're applying for the income-driven repayment plans. Carry on as usual. This is just all semantics in terms of what they're doing, and it's going to all work itself out the exact way that it's set up to.
Okay, sounds great. All right, so keep applying, people.
Yep.
Jatan says, I'm trying to get him to set up the LLC. I've been a licensed cosmetologist for 24 years. I write everything I can. Write off, I guess. Classes, phone, whatever. Yep. Whatever she can. That's right.
Right. You better talk to him.
That's the American way.
That's right. So Vicky says, I would like a session on how to protect yourself from ex-spouses that think they can come in a takeover if your spouse passes. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
That was my husband first. I don't know. We could talk about that, Vicky. All right. I think he touched on that.
Yeah.
Or even their kids, not even the spouse, but the kids. Good question, Tina. I want to know if we should combine both businesses. So he just said, nope.
No.
Keep them separate. But guess what? You can go start his LLC for him and just get all of it. Just tell him to give you all the expenses and all the other stuff, and you can just run it. Sometimes you just gotta help men out, and you get the benefit, right? You can start your own LLC in his business, and he'd be working for you and wouldn't even know it. But okay. So it'd be Jatan's lawn service, and you get all the benefits and tax write-off, and all of your money that you make can go back in your pocket, and he can keep doing what he's doing.
Nah, he ain't going for that. Different LLC. Thanks for the great information. Yep, that is nice information. Yep. Yeah, he answered it. Yes, he sure did.
All right, guys. So thank you so much again. We love each and every one of you.
Yeah, make sure you guys share this video, share the channel. Make sure you subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe. It's a lot of great information here, and we want to make sure we get it around to everyone.
Not just in this episode, but in every episode.
Every Friday, baby. Every time we come on.
Every podcast and every Friday Night Live. So make sure you share, subscribe, and make sure you tell people correct information. Stop spreading the false information.
Yeah, we do that a lot, don't we?
Attorney Reed told me that. He was like, that's another false thing you heard. All right, just throw that out the window. So we're here to not only give you the 411, but the right 411. To give you some knowledge. All right, guys. So that is it. Is there anything else, Jason?
I think that's it. Just don't forget to like, share, and definitely pass this information along. We don't want you guys to miss out on this. This is extremely important. A lot of time we have side hustles and we do not form businesses, and we just continue to do business as a side hustle, so we don't have to pay taxes on that money. But we give away so much when we do that. So let's get a little bit smarter, people. Okay.
All right. So are we ready to cancel out? Thank you, Attorney Reed.
Yes, thank you for
Mario,
all
and
your
the name that was behind the scenes. All right. So do you want to close one more time? Can you put his information up where
I
they
sure
can
can.
reach him?
Mm-hmm. I think I can do that if I can find Mario's info right there.
All right. So this is where you can reach Attorney Reed.
Yeah.
The likes. Any names on there that I need to?
There you go. Yep.
Okay. Did we get them all?
Yeah, we got everybody.
No, Patrick. All right. Thanks for tuning in, Patrick.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
And if there's any name that we did not mention that is tuning in, that it goes so fast, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here with us, and we will see you.
I got one more.
Come on now. It's what?
Tomorrow is Mario's birthday. I want to wish
okay.
him a happy birthday. He's given us all this information.
Yes.
And I want to say thank you because I know this is the day before your birthday, and we really appreciate you taking this time out. And we just want to say happy birthday to you, and we wish you the very best.
So if everyone can wish Mario a happy birthday, just type it in real quick. Tell him happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Mario, tell us your website or Facebook, or give us some type of information where they can also see you outside of here.
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook and it's under Mario A. Reed. However, as I tell everyone, I'm not really big on being friends with just anybody on Facebook. So you're always welcome to like and follow, and all of my content is public. So that's a 99% is public. So you're welcome to go. But I get a lot of clients and people who send me Facebook friend invites. I'm like, I don't really want to be your friend. I'm more than happy to give you info, but I'm not really interested in being your friend. But you can go. I do Sunday sessions with the Education Esquire on Sunday mornings about a variety of topics, property taxes, real estate, and so forth. I also post a lot of content and information about everything. So recently I posted about early voting, which is available. Hopefully everybody's getting out and taking advantage of it. We have a very important election that is right now already in effect regarding our governor, as well as state or federal senators on the ballot. So get out and vote. But you can go Mario A. Reed. All of the majority of the content is public, and it's intended to help. I do a lot of stories about client situations that a lot of people have never heard about, how Medicaid can put liens against houses for people who pass away, talk about how somebody didn't get a formal divorce and then that ex-spouse doesn't get anything or does get everything. So all of that content is there, and love to ensure that people have access to it. That's why it's out there. So
all right, so let's run down.
Yep. So we got Vicky saying happy birthday.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy birthday. Just go down.
Yeah.
Jatan and Wayne.
Oh, Geraldine. Hey, welcome. Thanks for tuning in, Geraldine. We appreciate that.
Lavanya. All right.
All the way from Cancun.
All right,
guys. Thanks again, Mario. Enjoy your Friday and enjoy your birthday weekend. All right. We hope not to text you this weekend. All right.
Try not to.
Yes. And as always,
we're in it to win it.